Hey guys, so in this video, we are going to be talking about setting things up. And what are we setting up? In the previous video, I talked a lot about algo trading and basically covered the breadth of it. We talked about technology, we talked about tools, markets, data, tons of different aspects. So in this video, I thought that I'll take one of them and make that into a bite sized chunk and deliver that. So this video is all about getting hands-on. So do open your Jupyter notebook, set up your Python environment. You don't need a fancy computer for this. Anything online or a simple computer will work. So here's the agenda. First, we are going to take a look at how to get market data using Yahoo Finance. Second, we are going to play with the data, get data from market like NSE, BSE, or stock data. And then we will do stats on it, try to calculate moving averages and do plotting. Finally, we'll try to do something which is known as a Bollinger Band, which is some a technical indicator. And towards the end, we will wrap this up by making a very simple moving average based strategy. The strategy will be buy if a condition is met, sell if it is not met, or hold. That's it. And what is the condition? Check out the video to watch about it. So, here's the code for getting the calculations up and running. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to walk through step by step. The way my IDE setup is on the left hand side, there's code, which is you can think of it as a Jupyter environment, and on the right side, there's an interact run. So basically, what we have is I'm going to do a pip install yfinance, plotly, and cufflinks. Yahoo Finance is the library which is used to get the market data. We have taken NSC. Let me just run these. Shift enter and it's connected. So on the right hand side, what's happening is it's connecting to my Anaconda environment and just working its way through. Then I have ticker, which is just a variable I've defined so that I can keep changing it. Now the way this works is that I'm going to first get some data from Yahoo Finance, and what I've done is I've taken an end date and start date. Start date is basically today and end date is just minus 50 days. You can change to anything. And if you pay close attention here, you have DM, which is a data frame, and I'm downloading the data interval is 5 minutes. Now, this is something to realize that when you have market data, you have varying of intervals. You can have second, 5 second, 10 second, 15 second, maybe a minute level, 5 minute. So there's varying degrees of aggregation that happens. Most people want to end of the day data if they are looking at longer term strategies where that's mostly convenient for them to work with less number of data points. But if you are a options trader or a day trader, you might want to go 5 second or a second level data too. This basically just dumps the data. So now let's do some plotting. I'm copying the data frame into another data frame, which is the F1. Let's try to do some plots and see what happens. So basically it says Jan 20. So there's a lot of choppiness in the data. So what I'm gonna do is just for simplicity, we'll reduce the number of days to instead of 50, we'll take 5. So we'll take this and we'll run this again. Now when I run the plot, I will have a smaller and easier plot. Yeah. So as you can see, I'm getting a much easier plot of high, lows, and what am I plotting? Now you can appreciate a pattern. So what has happened is starting from 9th February till 13th of February, there's data. 10th was, I think, Friday, right? Oh, yeah, 10th was Friday. So on Friday, we had NSE closing around 17,850, but on Monday, it started 75 points high, but then very quickly dipped down. So there's a very clear pattern that you can see. So now let's try to see that is there a way for us to visually appreciate the ranges in which this goes, and is there a way which we can mathematically explain the price movement? So what I have done is I've just calculated some basic formulas. We don't need to know all of them, we just need to know how to use them. It doesn't hurt to know them, it's actually good, but a lot of people run away from math. I'm one of them. So we'll have simple moving average, which is just price and rate rolling mean, then exponential moving averages. And then I have calculated Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands is basically plus minus 2 standard deviation up and down from simple moving average. Let me just run it. So this function basically download daily data. It's just a convenient function, just reusing things. Calculating daily returns. This function basically returns the daily log return basis close prices. So this is built on top of close prices. So calculated the Bollinger Band and now plot it. So the plot though is not super nice. I think we can very clearly see from this point on, you have the closing prices. The green one is up, the blue is the closing prices, and the red one is the down. So you can very quickly see that the Bollinger up is where the market started on Monday, and so you can try and see how this is moving. There's a pattern here, and there can be strategies built on that. I'm no expert. It is one of very popular technical indicators. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a strategy formulation. So quickly, what the strategy that we are going to do is we will take simple moving average for 12 days. And what we'll do is if the closing price is higher, then we'll buy. Otherwise, we'll do nothing. So that's the strategy. Simple. A strategy is just a logic which you have built and basis what you're trying to generate signal. So I'm going to say buy when my simple moving average is lower than the closing price. I'll try to buy and else do nothing, or I could do sell. It doesn't matter. It's not a real strategy. It's just to simulate the idea. All right. So we'll do the calculation. So I'm just gonna do some cleaning up of data, which is very important when you do this. When you study financial engineering, data science, you gotta clean up the data, right? So I've dropped the high, low, and volume simply because most of the calculations are done on closing prices. So I'll create a new column which captures the percentage change. Then I'm defining a simple moving average and I'm printing the head and tail for it. So now we'll execute the strategy. So if the closing price is higher, then 1, else 0. And then keep shifting like this. So now what we're going to do is we'll plot the strategy returns and then see how it would have been compared to a simple buy and hold strategy. So in this case, you don't get a lot of value. So there isn't a large difference. It's basically just to simulate the idea, but I hope the concept was reciprocating. So in a nutshell, we have, I'll just quickly scan again. We have installed the libraries. Step 1. Most of the libraries are common. You might already know that: Pandas, NumPy, Finance, Yahoo Finance, and we'll talk about more libraries in the next video. Then you take a ticker. You basically get the data for a period and for an interval. You then do some plotting, charting to understand data. I'm going to use that. I will want trend following. I want variance based, and then eventually I'll define a strategy. A strategy could be built on SMA. A strategy could be built on any indicator. We have looked at how to build a strategy. In the next video, we'll talk about a portfolio. How do we measure risk associated with it? So that's what the next video is going to be about. We'll take a sample portfolio, which is a combination of stocks bought at a certain prices on a certain date. And then we'll try to understand how to measure the risk associated with the portfolio. And that's what the video will be all about. Thank you for watching the video. This was super fun. I've had fun talking about this. And this is a very simple strategy. And hopefully, as you see more future videos, I'm going to talk about portfolio risk. How do you manage your risk? So that's the next video about. If you have a stock portfolio, how can you take Python and learn about your portfolio in a better way? What's the Sharpe ratio and stuff like that? Stay tuned. Do subscribe to the channel.